Hi, it's Narokx. This will be a unique installment of the chop. A lot of people ask me to do a full breakdown of how I go about analyzing beats, breaking it down, and remaking it to make a The Chop video. So here it is. This is a recording of me doing the whole process from sample to finish. This The Chop is for the beat You've Made Me Happy by Ninth Wonder, which samples the song You've Have Made Me So Very Happy by Lou Rawls. There will be plenty of techniques for mixing, mastering, and automations in this video. I know this video is longer than usual, so I'll try to timestamp everything so it is easier to find something specific you want to find. Also, heads up, this will be the last The Chop for at least a couple weeks. Even though the videos take a while for me to edit, I like making them, and I would be analyzing beats I'm inspired by regardless. For example, the Chop breaking down flamingos taught me a few transition techniques that are now part of my bag of tricks. So, if I keep breaking down beats, I'll keep making videos to share my practice. But I'll be taking this time off to improve the editing, pace, and recording of the videos, so they're more digestible and less producer nerdy. Thank you for the subscribers and the support. Here's the breakdown of the Ninth Wonder's beat, You Have Made Me Happy. Okay, so I have it already here set up where I have the sample and I have the beat. Let's put the beat a little bit here. The first thing I'm gonna do is figure out the tempo of each one of these. I'll do that. I'll put it on Edison. So I think it is 91. Let me see if it's actually 91. Yeah, it's more like 90. Another thing that I want to do here is figure out the key. C sharp minor is actually just E major. So it might be E major. At least I think it is E major. Well, I don't have to get into too specific, so I can just do this or A B major. I don't have to know for sure because all I have to do is match this to this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But what I do want to remind here is that it's 90 tempo. You think that won't make any difference, but it will, because I gotta figure out the tempo for this one, and then so it was gonna change this one for now. So close this one now. Control E is faster than clicking. I said Control E is faster than clicking. I don't have to get a specific session right now. I just want to see the tempo. It might actually be 95. This shit is so hard. This shit is so good. Like I wasn't gonna do this right now, but I got that beat on my head and I was like, man, I really want to break that down. This shit is so epic. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So it's also E major. So I don't think I'll have to pitch shift this one. I think I'm just gonna have to do with the tempo. So E major 95. Let's just work thinking that they're both E major. So I put this. I said fit the tempo. I select fit the tempo here because then when I move the tempo back to 90, it will keep the same proportions. Keeping the same proportions, I'll be able to. I don't have to do all the minute stretching. I still might have to, because I sped this part up. It's just me doing minute stretching, trying to match the sample to the beat. And like I said, it's not perfectly on tempo, so I have to stretch different parts, different amounts. So I rather do this in Ableton, because I can just put points and then I can stretch different amounts, different parts, different amounts. Here, to do that, I have to make the section that I want to stretch unique, or else the stretching that I do there is going to affect the whole sample, and I'll never be able to get every part to hit on the tempo that I want to. That's why I think most people, a lot of producers that I know and that I admire, like people from Disclosure, use Logic for their primary work, but they still go to Ableton. They still go to Ableton for their sample chops, and that's what I think I'm going to be doing until I switch completely to Ableton. It's going to be do most of my work on FL, but most of my sample chops and sample work is going to be on Ableton. It loses so much energy from this. It like have a big ass climax, and then out of nowhere, boom, done. I want to make this unique. Now I'm just making this unique so I can change the color. Changing this to color, then I'll be able to organize and show it to you guys better later. Or I can also just do this. And then I can... The drums here are crazy. Okay, I don't want to waste too much time, because I'm recording this. If not, like, if I wasn't recording this, I would just be grooving. Oh. The drums come in right here. I'm just gonna put drum drop right here so I know where to put it. That's weird. Did I mess that up? Huh. Is this on 3? Is this 3/4? I'm starting to feel like this is 3/4, because this goes to the end. What? Make this unique, because I want to change the color of this, because it's filtered. This is just good for arrangement. Seeing how they arrange their beat can give me an idea of like how they structure the beat, how they control the flow of the high energy moments and the low energy moments. So it's pretty good to have this mark and analyze when they filter, when they drop the drums. It's just overall good to understand their thought process for arranging the beat. So okay, but I was really trying to pay attention to is that they move this from, they do 3 bars here, they do 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, and then it's 2 bars to eternity. I'm gonna make this loop. I never noticed the vocal behind the "thank you baby" before I analyze this. And I can cut this to half. Maybe even half of this. This is a straight up low pass. I need to sleep, bro. It's not different enough. And I can change this to low pass hard. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's like I have a double snare. It's really weird because he put his own snare right here, and then they have the natural snare from the song way earlier. So he's basically using the first snare, the snare from the song, as a perk. So that's why it sounds so different when you drop the snare. Oh my god, this this little drum drop here is so hard. It's so hard. But I don't know, bro. I can't explain. This shit is so hard. And then he has drums and it fades out pretty much. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna do the drums, and then I'm gonna do the effects. The effects, I think he put this whole thing through a cassette, so it has more color to it, but it sounds like it's older. It has shittier quality. I don't know if that's the MPC exporting that he does, or if he's passing it through a tape machine or something like that. I don't know, but there's some cool effects here and here. It's cool with the drops and everything. But what I do want to see, and you can see how much thicker it is than the original. Even if I put normalize, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Normalize usually would make this louder, or fuller. But I think it's just the fact that it has more color, more distortion, more saturation here. Now I want to play those drums because the pattern is really interesting. So I want to try playing it on an FPC, kinda. Yeah. So how am I gonna do that? Usually I would just drag the drums here to see their pattern, and that would be easier. But I kind of wanna get better at finger drumming, honestly. So I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm gonna set up the FPC. So the thing about the FPC, yeah, I can still play, it just won't sound perfect. I will have to, yeah, it won't sound perfect anyway because of the latency to record on FL Studio. I have to record and to capture FL Studio while I talk. I have to move to FL Studio ASIO out of my interface ASIO, which is actually what makes the latency super short and makes me be able to talk and play things on a decent latency. So I'll try to figure out how to do the FPC. If I can't do the FPC, I'll just drag the drums, which is not as fun for me, but it still gets the point across. Like I said before, I had to play the drums. I wanted to play the drums like finger drumming because I want to practice that, and it's really cool for your swing to learn how to do that. And this one has a pretty good drum kick and snare pattern. Since the original sample already has a lot of going on with the drums and the perks, I don't hear Ninth Wonder adding any hats. So I just finger drum the kick and the snare, and it's basically 3 patterns, being 2 main patterns and a variation pattern. Also, you can see like I found the other sample, this part of the sample, the thank you baby part, and I also figured out that he plays the 3 bars of the loop just in the beginning and in the end when it's fading out. Other than that, it's just this 2-bar loop, the classic. I also did a little bit of mixing, but first I want to just talk about the chop. Yeah, and it's pretty far. It's on towards the end of the song, as you can see. Yeah, towards the end of the song. I'm not gonna give you the exact numbers like I usually do on my normal videos because I'm just going through it, and I wanted to share how it would be me doing these, how I actually do these. So I put these 2 chops here. It happens twice. It's a little variation. Everything that is up here has no drums, except this part that is the little break part that has a triple kick. But I'm talking too much and not showing enough. But before I go over the drums, I wanted to go over the effects that I did. So you have the intro right here. Let me just do this one part right here first, because I think this is affecting my everything else when it shouldn't be. So let me just... So the low pass is gonna kick right here. Before that, it should be just a high pass. This should be a high pass. There we go. So it's a high pass. It's throughout the whole thing. It's for the drop because it has a buildup of energy. So the chorus is naturally, or the intro is naturally really quiet. And then here you have the beat drops, so you get that increase of energy. Let me show you here the low pass, the high pass. See, I didn't use cut. This would filter everything out. This would be a filter. What I did was is that I messed that up. Dang, because I can't retreat that, but I can just move this to default and do something similar like that, 100. Okay, so yeah, I didn't want to filter because I analyzed the beat, and you still had low end information, so it wasn't a filter. It was more like of a low pass, a high pass EQ, not a filter, not a high pass filter. So you have, like I said, you have 3 levels of increase of energy. You have from the natural energy increase from the intro to a drop, and then you have another increase of energy when it goes from having little lows to having all the lows. It feels very bombastic, and it has a lot of body. And that plays that two beats. The 2-bar pattern plays 4 times, and then the drums drop. And then the energy increases yet again, because now you have the drums are increasing groove and low and high end information. So again, you're just building your energy level, and it's really good because the thing you get when you have too much consistency on your beat, it stays on that same energy level, it becomes boring. The beat making and music should be like a journey. So it goes low and then high energy, and you take the listener through that experience. So yeah, here's a simple drum pattern. But before, I want to talk about here. Yeah, nothing too complicated. All the variation here is that he drops the drums here. And then he has this little he have a snare and a kick to bring it back to the drums. Another cut of the drums right here. And he does that to introduce this next section, which is the low pass. Other than that, it's pretty much a repeat of what we've seen so far, what I explained so far. And it ends with the fade out with playing it 3 bars again. But the drums here are not ready for the... Oh, of course, I got to mix it all. But it has a lot of volume automation of the drums on the on this section where it goes all the way down and then it increases. But before I want to do the low pass. And I don't think there's other automation with the low pass. I think that's just it. Yeah, it's the same automation throughout. It's the same low and throughout. That doesn't change. What changed here is the drums. But here it's actually like I filter. If you look at the beat, you will see that is no high-end information. So here I actually filtered. To filter, you can put this on as a square and actually put it in filter mode, which is this shape right here. So now that we talked about all the automation that happens other than the fade out, I can just do a quick fade out real quick. And this is what I'm working with. This is just saving stuff for later. I like to sample, so I might use a few chops here and there for other stuff. Another thing that is really cool to do when you're analyzing other beats that inspire you, is to see if there is a way that you can flip it and make it your own. I wanted to do that for every chop, but I just don't have the time. And sometimes the samples don't give me that inspiration, or sometimes they do, but the result doesn't come out to anything that I want to share. So yeah, let's talk about the drums now. As you can see, this is a FPC. I went here, put empty, and now you see here has Narokx, and it's just an empty FPC. And then I just drag the samples here, and then I can play it on my touchpad on my my Akai MPK Mini. So if you record this playing like I did, your kick and your snare are going to be on the same line right here. So what I did was, it was like this before. So what I did was I cut this and pasted on a clone of this of the same thing. I did that so I can put one in like mixer 5 and the other one in mixer 6. That way I can level them the way I wanted them to be leveled, and I can then mix them the way I want them to be mixed individually. What I'm gonna do here is send them both to the same bus track exclusively. So if I want to do an effect, a type of effect that affect both of them, it will affect both of them. And that also saves me some processing power, that I don't have to do effects here and here. I can do it just in one place. But I think I'm gonna do a few different effects, like some different EQs, because I find my drums very stocky the way they are right now. So I think I'm gonna add some distortion, do some EQing, and maybe a little bit of reverb. Not sure if I'm gonna put reverb on the kick, but maybe a little bit on the snare. And the third pattern is a pattern that I just kind of fit in for the switch ups. But the drums are not like that. They have automation right here. So okay, here the drums also have a low pass. They have a low pass because the low is passing through, so you can hear the kick, but you cannot hear the snare. So this is what I'm talking about. Here I can put a low pass, create a low pass effect that is going to affect both the kick and the snare, instead of having to do this twice. So I can create an automation clip, and I'm going to create 2 automations for this. There we go. Okay, so here's my automation. I'm going to just follow the process of this, like to activate my the low pass. So let's see how it sounds now. Too much. Actually, I'm gonna automate this 3 times, which is quite insane if you ask me. So okay, what do I want to do with another automation here? The other automation is going to be at the end. Maybe instead of doing, because I wanted to automate the EQ and make this open with an automation, but I'm going to see if I can just reduce the automation right here and see if that works as well. Yeah, is that 2 snares? There's just 1 snare that you can hear. Okay, I actually like that. That actually works. So that saves me a little bit of automation that I have to do. And that is kind of the creative process of beat making sometimes, that you can choose different methods to approach the same issue or the same idea that you want to have, that you're doing. Now the next thing is just automate the volume of the drums. Another reason that is really good for me to have them pan to the same bus. So if you hear here, the volume goes up and down for the drums. Yeah, so it's just the volume just dies here and then it rises here for no reason. I don't get that, but whatever. I can automate this. I'm not gonna change this volume very much, so I can automate it just here. I'm not too worried. Actually, I am really worried. So what I'm gonna do is a pro gamer move. Let's call it that. My kick and my snare are right here. I'm gonna send them to this track, and this track I'm gonna send it here. Now, why? Why am I doing that? So if I wanna do adjustments on the leveling here, if I have this automated, I'm gonna have to pick my volume. I'm gonna have to change my volume here, which sucks. Manually adjusting your volume here sucks, because you see it as percentage, not as dB. Okay, you can use your ears and everything, but it's just frustrating not being able to do that, seeing the dBs and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna alter this one, and then this one that is gonna the one that I'm sending for the final and I have my effects on isn't gonna be automated, so I'm gonna be able to manually adjust it as I level this beat before I'm done, because I'm gonna do leveling at the end, of course. So yeah, it's kind of a weird shape, but you can barely hear the snare, you cannot hear the kick, and you can hear the next kick. So it's just that it's pretty much a duck that you're gonna have on your volume. Where's my shizness? Oh, it's off. It's rising too slow. Now my drums sound stocky compared to my sample. My sample already sounds pretty much ready. I'm not gonna do too much with it. I don't think I will even boost the lows, which I would do if it was a more bass heavy beat. What I noticed when I was mixing, when I was analyzing, is that the beat was a very it had a lot of distortion, a lot of color, and you can get that by putting through a tape, which will make it sound like it's older, like it has a lot of artifacts. You could do that with RC, with this G37 from Waves, any cassette plugin. There's plenty of free ones. You can, it's kind of different than lo-fiing your beat, is bringing more color to it. And you can do that manually. Like on RC, you have a distortion knob, you have a noise section, you have You have a magnet section, all that stuff that you can manually do. I can bring a distortion right here. I can bring something to bring out the noise right here. And you can make your beat sound grittier like that. Or you can just have a cassette plug-in like the G37. So I already put that on the beat. It worked well. It made it sound brighter. It did a lot to the high end. So I don't want to do too much more for it because I'm not going to spend too much time mixing this. So that'll be pretty much it for the beat. So for the pattern for the drums, you can see the pattern. It's pretty simple. It's just a boom bap pattern, honestly. The second one is is a little bit more complicated, and the third one is a little bit different. For the switch ups, you have just this triple kick right here. On this drop, I found that delaying it a little bit off the grid was better, and that is actually why I'm playing with my fingers for. I get that swing, everything's not hitting on grid, has a lot of groove. Of course, I manually adjusted these because I don't play this finger drumming perfectly, and I also wanted to adjust a little bit of the velocity on the triple kicks and stuff like that. But let me do something to these drums so they sound a little bit better. See, something small like that, just adding distortion, cutting a little bit of information that you're not going to use, a little bit of the low end on the snare, a little bit of the high end on the kick. So you cutting out what you don't want, information that you don't want, and then you're accentuating what you want with the captator, distortion and stuff like that. Of course, I could master this, make it sound really good, all that jazz, and making sure every frequency is hitting really well. Like normally I would just go to Maximus. So usually on Maximus I would just do this. I would just go through the frequencies. And of course here I can also do the merger or separation of the stereo space, because honestly I know the beat is also really weirdly pan like the sample is, but I don't like it particularly, so I would change that. But I can also do some compression here on different parts, because another thing that you should be doing to your drums is to tighten them. For example, on this final bus that I have for the drums, it would be a glue compressor. But I can also do that on my master, and this is a lazy way of mastering, and that's a way for me to master my beats to YouTube, to people. But this will probably be turned off if I were to send this to an engineer to mix a project. This is to make your stuff sound a little bit tighter and a little bit bigger on shitty speakers. For example, on shitty speakers, I would boost the mid and the highs a little bit, and on regular And for a song, it wouldn't just be that straightforward as boosting this. It's more of a delicate process with EQs and saturation and stuff like that. But here I'm just gonna show you what I would do to this beat. Okay, so I have my lows around 6 dB. I put a little bit of a compression on them. I increase the attack so I don't lose the punchiness of my transient, and I use a post gain. So I gain the level that I lost by compressing. And also, you see how a lot of movement there is in the stereo space? I don't want that for my lows. I want my lows to be solid, right in the middle. So I would merge them a little bit. Not too much because the sample is naturally all over the place. And if my drums and my kick and my low frequency stuff is in the middle, then my high and my mids can be on the sides, feeling really big, very really bright, and they won't be fighting with my low end. See, here is 3 dB less than my low end. I particularly I'm not a big fan of that, because you will get, on shitty speakers, you will get more low mids and mids, then you will get the very low end. So I want to boost this to be a little bit closer to my lower end in level, and not just 3 dB down. Yeah, around 4 or 5 dB down. So and here I'm being quite aggressive. Usually you would do you will use multiple compression plugins to do different things and bring different shapes to your sound. A compressor will leave its mark on a frequency that's going through it. So different compressors on same settings will give you noticeably different sounds if you're paying attention. So here I'm being very aggressive, but the better thing would be for me to do this multiple times with different multi-band compressors. The highs are quite high already. So, here I want to separate it a little bit, just a little bit. And here I want to have a little bit louder. It's the high end is quite noticeable on the beat, so I want to emulate that, and I want to boost my the color that I added with the saturation, or with the tape, with the cassette. So, and here I want to separate a lot, so it's very noticeable. Yo, this shit sounds good, bro. I don't care. I like it. I'm done, boys. I don't know if editing this is gonna be way longer or way shorter. Probably not shorter, because I'm not editing a lot of stuff out. It's not being very consistent, but it works. It's easier for me. I hope it's easier for me to edit. If it's easier for me to edit, and if you guys think you guys got more information and more game by watching me do it like this, then I'll do it more often. But I guess other than that, that is it, guys. I'm gonna play the beat for a little bit, and then we'll be out of here.
my world.